Hello everyone, my name is Ethan from A3HD, and I'm here alone today doing this commentary to show you this amazing gameplay by Eric from our channel. I'll go over that in a second. And also to kind of redeem myself, because in the last video I got a little bit of hate in the comments section because I said things about TV. Basically, in our last video I said that I think that TV is going downhill and that it eventually will kind of just like stop being watched and people won't watch TV anymore. So if you want to see, what went down in that video, go and check it out, and you can read some of the comments and stuff. But I'm doing this video to kind of redeem myself, but also it's kind of a video that I wanted to do for a little while. It's about basically some of the popular TV shows that are out right now that have been out in the past, and my favorite shows, because I actually do enjoy TV, even though I did say that in the last video that TV is going downhill. But so I'll go into that in a second. First I'll go over the gameplay. This is, I believe, on the map Retreat, and it's played by Eric from our channel, and he goes just completely off. He just, he's ridiculous in this gameplay. He ends up actually getting 20 captures on Domination, which is insane. If you play Domination or Call of Duty in general, you probably know that that's a pretty crazy number for captures. So, the big 20, he got that, and he still maintained to get 40 kills, because, a lot of times when you're going for captures, you don't get as many kills, and you get, like a lot of deaths, and he actually only gets 10 deaths. So, he was all around just great in this gameplay with kills, deaths, and captures. So great job, Eric. 20 captures is insane. So now we'll get into the TV commentary. So some of the popular shows out right now and that have been recently out in the past few years, you probably already know them, but I'll just go over them real quick. The Walking Dead, that zombie show that everybody watches pretty much. If you're not watching it, you should be. I personally watch it, and it's a pretty great show. Basically, it's just during the zombie apocalypse, it's just a group of people that basically live lives and show you what it would be like during a zombie apocalypse. Breaking Bad, that's not on anymore, but it was just recently on, and that's about a chemistry teacher, I believe he was a chemistry teacher, that ends up selling meth and making meth with his former student because he is dying of cancer and he needs money. So that's a pretty great show. Everybody watched that when it was out. American Horror Story is out right now as well, and that is, personally, I think it's an okay show, but it's kind of weird. And if you've ever watched it, you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of confusing and kind of just insane. It's like, I don't know, I can't really explain it. You would just have to go watch it. It's just really weird stuff happens. I mean, you can kind of tell by the title, American Horror Story. But that's a pretty popular show right now, and I believe the season just started on that, or recently just started, so that's pretty popular right now. Prison Break was on a few years ago. That's actually been over for a few years, but that was a big show when it was out, and it's still a big show today, on Netflix and people going back and watching it. So that's a great show. Basically, it's about a group of guys that break out of prison, and they do it for a good reason, though. And so you have to watch the show to really figure out that reason, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. Game of Thrones, I don't know if Game of Thrones is still currently out, but I do know that it just recently was, if it just ended or not. But it's definitely current, and that's an amazing show. I actually really like that show. Game of Thrones is basically just, it's like kind of a medieval, but also like mysterious. I don't know, it's just like, it's a show with basically a bunch of mysteries and a bunch of, not mysteries, that's not the right word for it. I can't really explain it, but it's a great show, and there's just a place where all these people live in this kingdom, and crazy stuff happens, and it literally ends up becoming a Game of Thrones, which is the title, of course, and it's just people fighting for the throne and people doing crazy stuff to each other, and everyone's dying. It's just a good show. So you should check that out. That is an HBO show, though, so you have to have HBO to watch it. So those are some of the popular shows, and of course there is a lot of other popular shows out there. Those are just like the few that I feel are really current and that I have a little bit of knowledge about because I've watched most of those. Actually, I've watched all of them. And I've watched a few of them all the way through. So, those are really great shows. If you haven't checked those out already, you should. And post in the comments below any other popular shows out right now that I missed that you feel should be on the list. But next I'll go over my favorite shows. And some of my favorite shows include Dexter, which is about a serial killer, but it's actually it's through the point of view of a serial killer. So you basically see, how his mind works, how he kills people and why. He actually kills people for a good reason, if there is such thing. I don't want to go out and say that there's a good reason to kill people, but it's more justified than just going out and killing people mindlessly. So, that's a great show. I really liked it. I watched it all the way through. That is on Netflix if you want to go and watch it. It should still be on there. Breaking Bad, I already went over what Breaking Bad was, but that's on my list of favorite shows. That's a really great show. Most people like it. Arrow. I think Arrow is kind of underlooked. A lot of people watch it and a lot of people know what it is, but at the same time, it's not as popular and not as big as, things such as Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones and stuff like that. So Arrow is a really great show. It's a DC comic turned into a real life show type thing. And it's about a guy that he was on a deserted island, and on this deserted island, because his plane crashed there, or no, sorry, not plane, I was thinking something else. His boat crashed, and he ended up on a deserted island. And he ends up on that island learning a bunch of skills and, learning how to fight and stuff. And then so when he comes back to a city and he gets saved, he ends up turning into a vigilante and saving the city, basically. So that's a great show. That is still on right now. Another one of my favorite shows is Top Gear, and that's a show all about cars, and they do car reviews and different funny things with cars. And they have Top Gear for most countries. Like there's a Top Gear USA, a Top Gear, British version. There's an Australian version. There's a Top Gear for most countries. So that's a really good show. And I personally love cars, so that's why I watch that show. And it's funny. Another one of my favorite shows is Prison Break, and I already explained what that was, but that's a really great show. A lot of people liked that when it was on. And then I like other shows as well. I like Game of Thrones. The Walking Dead, I'd say, is one of my favorite shows. I really like that. I feel like The Walking Dead kind of becomes monotonous at sometimes. When they're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. But then they do end up changing it up every once in a while, and it's a really good show regardless. So that, I would say, is on my list of favorite shows. American Horror Story is okay. I wouldn't say that's my favorite show. So, what makes a good show? I think that, well, first of all, it has to have a good storyline and a good concept. A lot of things have good concepts, but also don't have good storylines. Like, for example, the movie The Purge. I think that had a really great concept. The whole you get one night to do whatever you want kind of thing. It's a cool concept, but I don't think it was that good of a movie, and I think they could have done it a lot better. So it has to have a good concept and a good storyline to it, and actually executed well. And then also, there's another way to make like a good show. I think that's timeless shows, which by that I mean, basically it's a show that can just keep going on forever and has been going on for a long time probably. So examples of this are like South Park, Family Guy, SpongeBob, Law and Order, Doctor Who, things like that. Those are what I consider timeless shows because basically those shows you can, just keep making new episodes and it never has to end because it doesn't really have like a set storyline. Like South Park, every episode is completely different and they talk about basically current things. And I think that's what makes South Park so good and so widely watched, is because they talk a lot about things that are currently in the news and they kind of make fun of it. So it's a funny show. And then they also, just kind of educate you on current things. I wouldn't say educate you, but, they talk about current things. So that's probably why that show is so good. And I think that timeless shows are good because they can kind of just go on forever and they never have to end. And a lot of people like that because, you know, when you watch a show like The Walking Dead or Breaking Bad, it's a great show, but it's only on for a few seasons. And then you're just kind of like, well, now what do I do, you know? This was a great show and I really liked it and I wish it was still going on. So timeless shows really make it so that you can just keep watching it. So that's why we like things like SpongeBob and South Park. You know, SpongeBob is more of a kid's show, but at the same time it's kind of geared towards adults in a way. I think that older people could watch it as well, probably with their kids. But so all these shows I listed today were great shows and are great shows. You heard me talk about my favorites, so I'd like to hear your favorites. Post in the comments below what your favorite shows are. Any shows that I missed so you feel should be on the popular shows list, because I did leave out a few popular shows. And just anything else that you want to say about the video and about TV. So thanks for watching, guys. The gameplay is coming to an end. Eric went off, of course. I think he ended up going 43-10 with 20 captures on domination. So thanks for watching. I'm Ethan from A3HD, and I'll see you guys later.